comments or wants to motion to approve them, let me know. I can do a quick review if people would like.
I'm good with making a motion to approve.
All right. Second.
I'll second it.
All right. And I'm just going to take a quick look before I roll call and see if there was anything that I wanted to call out from it for us to just be aware. Yeah, no. Okay, so let's do a roll call. Let me get back. Charisse,
Aye.
Phil,
Aye.
Jen, and I'm an aye. So the minutes are approved. For events is next on our agenda. We have setting up the tour of the recycling facility. I've been in touch with Mark Van Weeden, I think is his last name, from G Mello. He's our contact for Casella's facility, which is where our recycling goes through Mello. I think there may have been a miscommunication. I think he was waiting on me to give him a date versus me waiting on him. I told him like generally when we might be available and hoped he would suggest a couple dates. That never happened. So now I just told him that I was going to ask you all if Wednesday, November 12th could work for you, if he can get them to plan to host us that morning or midday. You guys can let me know what time you think works best. I think, Jackie, that might be kind of close to your CONSCOM meeting. But if we plan
that is a
ahead,
meeting day for me, so I might be too busy that day, but we'll see how I'm doing with last minute things with the meeting.
do things come up last minute for it?
Yeah, like
Is that-
sometimes people will try and change things or we're waiting for
Okay.
something and yeah. But
I mean,
I
we
can
could
maybe make
I
it.
just realized that because I was going to propose the 5th, but Kevin would like, I think it would be important for Kevin to attend if he's free. Just to have that firsthand, eyes on the process. And he's unavailable on the 5th. So I think it's important for Jackie to be there too.
How long do you think we'll be there for?
Well, I think transportation alone, we have to give ourselves an hour for because it's in Charlestown. So like there and back with any like parking and whatnot, I would want to allocate an hour just for the transportation.
Okay.
The tour itself, like I said, Mark didn't really get back to me with any information that he's a really great guy. His emails tend to be 5 words or less. One of those. So I didn't get a lot of detail. I have toured their facility before, but it was before they revamped it. They did like an introductory portion with like a video, and then we went through the actual facility. So I would also probably want to allocate an hour, like it might be less than an hour, but so in total, I would want to allocate 2 hours for this.
Okay, yeah, I think I can make time for that. I think I'd just like to be back in the afternoon before end of day to make sure if people are calling me about the meeting.
Okay. What about the rest of you, like morning hours on the
It's
12th?
fine with me. I don't have anything until 6 o'clock at night, so I'm good.
Okay.
The 12th is a busy day with client meetings for me, so I'll probably have to opt out.
But you should be there too.
I'm sorry. I
feel like
mean, I have like an 11 o'clock client meeting. I can move the other things earlier in the day, but that's still gonna be really tight.
Yeah. What about you, Charisse, just so we know?
I could make it work. Morning would definitely be preferable.
Mm-hmm.
I probably couldn't do the afternoon.
Yeah. I told him morning either way, because that seemed to be the
Okay.
consensus last time. Jen, what about, and everybody, but is it every Wednesday for you, Jen, or that particular Wednesday? Like with the 19th, if we pushed it back even, because I feel like if we plan far enough out, then there's more likelihood that people can plan their schedules around this versus vice versa. then I can maybe text Kevin. I see he's logged in, but I don't know if he's actually listening or or if that's
Like I could
even him.
do the 5th, but most Wednesdays, or it's like every other Wednesday I have an 11 o'clock client meeting. So I could do the 5th or I could do the 19th.
All right. Ask. What about the rest of you, 19th?
That's
Yeah,
fine. Again,
same.
6 o'clock is my standing thing on Wednesdays, so anything early in the day is fine.
Is somebody listening in who's logged in as Kevin? Maybe it's Sam. Maybe not. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can. So I'm gonna pencil us in for the 19th and ask and find out if we can make that happen. Give them a more specific date. And I'm gonna right now just email Sam and I texted Kevin. So that by the end of the meeting, maybe we'll have an answer.
Hey, Zilly.
Oh, you're there. Just a
Yeah,
quick
sorry.
question.
Polly
Oh.
just stopped by over from Gills to ask about the cable broadcast, so I had to take that one. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. We were just checking if the 19th could work for you, and you don't have to do anything else for our meeting, but just, yeah.
I'm looking. I have an Alliance Quarterly Community Partner Planners meeting. City of Beverly host it. I may be there, but I'm not a hard have to. That's in the morning. That's 8
We would
till
do the morning.
10.
That's 8 to 10.
And I could
If
always
we-
pop in because I'm in Beverly and say hi and then jet.
Okay. If we planned something where we left from Topsfield at 10 on the 19th, is there anyone that would not work for?
I just have to be back by 1 for a client call.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Mark 10 to 12 on the
sorry.
19th.
Apologies. Sam just reminded me I'm actually being in Disney World that week. Kind of a big deal. Forgot about that. Sorry. My calendar still populates all the meetings. So I didn't.
That's good. I
better.
love it.
My
By the
don't tell
way-
my wife I forgot about that. She's not going to be happy with me.
So how about, because I
Sorry.
feel like we can do this more than once. It didn't sound like, according to Mark, it didn't sound like it was dreadfully hard to do more than one. Jen, if we planned it for the 12th, I hate to not have somebody there. We could plan it for the 19th and then do another time when Kevin can do, like, I'm not sure which way to go. How about I ask Mark if there's any reason that one or the other works or doesn't? I'll ask, and maybe that'll be the tiebreaker, is Casella's availability. And then either way, we'll plan a second visit with maybe other people. Maybe we almost do like a committee meeting tour and then a staff tour. Maybe we can find a day when we can get some more people from town hall to coordinate and go together. So I will start with just giving Mark both of those dates and seeing. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so we can move on to our SAC current priorities, which the first on the list is our outreach platforms and methods, with which Sharice and I both were appointed last time, or approved, or whatever term we used last meeting to get started with creating our social media face. There's a word I'm looking for, it's not coming, but both of us, as life goes, had a very busy month with a lot of different things going on. And I think at the beginning, we kind of hit the ground running with planning it all out. And then we both got really busy. So we did get something done. It is a start, and it will allow us to really move forward more efficiently. But I don't know, Sharice, if you want to take the reins from here and share. I can't log in. I'm not logged into the either page on my computer to share a screen. Sylvia, I
Um,
don't know if you want to do that.
I'm
Okay.
on my phone
Oh,
for
okay.
Zoom, so I can't
All right, let me,
really share.
why don't you
Um,
talk about it and I'll see if I can get myself set up to share.
okay, so I created a Facebook page called Sustainable Topsfield. And what we had really wanted to do was to create a Facebook profile that was kind of a dummy account called Sustainable Topsfield to then create the Facebook page instead of it coming from one of us as the personal creators.
Mhm.
But Facebook has made it incredibly challenging to create a dummy account for many good reasons, right? It's
Mhm.
a good thing, but it's not really helpful in this situation. So after trying it many different ways, I did have to create an additional page via my account. It doesn't mean that only I can access it or anything like that. I've also given Zilly the same um, abilities that I would have, and we could add any of us to be on there as well. But that's just something to keep in mind. That kind of didn't go according to our plan. In no way, though, is this tied to me personally. Um, Same thing with Instagram, because Instagram, you need a mobile phone number to create an account. And Zilly and I both have multiple accounts for
Mhm.
our businesses and other organizations that we're involved with. So I had to create it starting from my account. Again, no specific tie to me personally. But because both Zilly and I have businesses, organizations tied to both of our personal social medias, we can't do the automatic connection of, okay, I'm posting on Sustainable Topsfield Facebook page. This will automatically post on the Instagram page at the same time. It's not a big deal. That happening simultaneously is really just for ease. I'm personally fine with doing a quick post on Facebook and a quick post on Instagram. And honestly, using the Meta Professional Business Center, you can just schedule them at times that you want anyway. And ideal times for Facebook and Instagram audiences are not normally the same anyway. So we don't really need that connection point because
Sharice, what is the ideal time for, I thought, isn't Facebook like 8 o'clock in the evening or something?
yeah, and Instagram is different and tends to run a little bit later at times, but
Okay.
what it will do is it will also recommend ideal times to us based
Oh.
on our audience once we have an audience.
Mhm.
So it won't be incredibly accurate. It will be general recommendations to start, but then as
Mhm.
we kind of grow followers,
Yeah.
then we can see, okay, let's go by what Facebook is recommending. So right now, we have not shared the pages because normally before you start asking people to follow you, you want to have up at least 3 to 5 posts that are representative of the kind of
Mhm.
content that you'll have on a page. So that's kind of my next step now that the Facebook and Instagram profiles are created. And I have been collecting a folder of all different, tips and advice regarding environmental practices. And I know that, we all have access to a lot of those kinds of things. So I have plenty of material. I just need to start getting a few posts up, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. And we also have the Google Doc that Jen had started in the
Yes.
past as a good resource. And Phil, thank you, has been forwarding emails from other communities that he's on their email lists
Yes.
with content ideas. So thanks you guys for those. I managed to, I'm going to share my screen just to give us it's the bare bones right now, but what does this say? How do I just make this go away? You go away.
I thought that we had discussed just taking the Green Topsfield Facebook
Yeah, sorry,
Like,
thanks
and
for
just
reminding
changing the
us.
name to sustainable, so we already had an audience. Or
Yeah,
already had members.
you're
Yeah.
right. That is where we left off in this meeting. And then Zilly had some
That was
more
on me.
insights in between. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, Zilly, you can share your
Well,
insights.
part of it was, I didn't want, I decided afterwards, and I apologize for that, that I wasn't as comfortable giving that over to, oh, well, two things happened. One is we also had talked about running it by, the town, like Stephanie and Kevin,
Right.
about making sure it's okay, because we wanted to create, oops, sorry, wrong thing. Not even using Grammarly. I don't know why that's, uh, permissions to create a group that we wanted to do, and just remembered like all the reasons why, um, from a public meeting, public organization standpoint, that wasn't a good idea for us to be the ones running it. Just showing you guys kind of the bare bones. This is the Instagram and this is the Facebook. So at the moment, so I'll stop sharing just so it's not like, so with that, I kind of backtracked to what I originally thought, and I decided to keep Green Topsfield as is. My thought being, in the long term, I'd love, that might be something that I can shift and become like a Green Tri-Town or a regional group that's not linked to a appointed or elected public body, which gives it more freedom to do whatever I want. Um, so that was kind of the reason we said, let's just start from scratch. It was also, our hope at the time was it would be easier to link the accounts if we created everything from scratch, because right now there was some complication with that. So
Okay.
I just decided to go this way. I would still use the existing followers to push this to them and try to pull them over to get information here. So I think we could still benefit from the existing followers there. But yeah, that's a great question. And then as far as a group which could be more engaging, this is where we're going to need to kind of reach out to our friends of sustainability that are not one of us. I have a few people in mind, but I didn't want to get to them until we had this set up, to see if they would be willing to admin a community facing discussion group
Right.
that could be moderated, so that we as a, government, appointed entity aren't moderating people's ability to participate.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the start. That's the bones. Thank you, Charisse. You spent a lot of time just trying to battle the new limits that are seem to be placed on the creation of these new profiles. Again, like, it's good reason to prevent dummy accounts, but it's hard for a situation like this.
Mhm.
Any thoughts or questions so far?
Zilly, this looks great. I mean, it's so, I'm just to make sure I understand conceptually, it's to create a Facebook presence, obviously independent from the town technically, but within this auspice of SAC, updating information around things that the town's doing, events that are happening, best practices, things that people who want to be interested in composting, things like that.
Mhm.
How can I help? Is there anything that
Oh.
the town can do? Is there any way, is there expectation of like sharing it and or contributing to it? Like what would your expectations of us be so that we can help you be super successful with it?
Yeah, definitely. The hope is that once we, like Sherry said, we need to kind of start populating it a bit more. So sometime in the next month, I would say, maybe soon, maybe in the next couple of weeks. If I could reach out to you guys and have Stephanie repost from us onto the Topsfield social media, possibly even do a news announcement on the website that says this is a new place you can follow and learn stuff.
Mhm.
Update our page on the website to include access to this, like redirect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Mm.
how I think would be helpful.
The one thing I would, you may have already talked about this at some point, but I'll mention this. So our unwritten but pretty firm policy has been, if we have a social media presence, we turn off the chat features,
Mhm.
because everything we do is a public record, and you can't really censor people who might be saying inappropriate things, or
Right.
the line, like it's profanities or stuff to that nature. But there's we just don't want to engage in that First Amendment stuff if we can avoid it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's what we, yeah.
yeah, our presence has always been, to push information. And then
Yeah.
if you have any questions, call this number. And no one calls the number, but at least it's there. If somebody ever had a question, they could.
Mhm.
I think partly because Stephanie does such a great job putting all the information out. People don't have questions, but I think that we've always taken that position, and
Mhm.
I think either through a conversation I had with Raphael, or maybe it was Uzilla, I can't remember now.
Yeah,
But we've had a little conversation about, like, how do we do that, and just
Raphael's the one that told us to check with you before we go live.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So is the intention to do the same, sort of have it forward facing or pushing the information?
Yeah, Sharice and I both that's one of the reasons we kind of took the task on, is because we've both done this for many years in our respective roles on the school committees. So we have that background of like using a page to push information out. The thing with this one is so that'll be what this page will be, is sharing from the town, but also just tips and tricks. Like my hope is that maybe like we re-engage with Masco students and create tutorials for all kinds of things. So this could have a lot of really good content over time. And it would be pushing it out. I hope that we can figure out a good way to have an opportunity for people to reach back to us. And that's the next step. We were like, we need to get something moving and start getting information out there. So we'll figure out whether there's an unrelated person who could create a group where discussion can take place that's not run by us, and or looking at having option to sign up for like an email newsletter, something that's not on social media where people could get. And I have something a little bit, an idea for later on their agenda, this idea of coaches for, yeah.
That's perfect. And one thing I should mention too is people can message us, like
Yeah.
on our Facebook. Like if someone does have a question, we post like, hey, there's a 375th celebration happening on Saturday from 3 to whatever. And somebody says, what's the address of town hall? Hopefully they Google it or they know where it is. But if they have like a question like that, they can actually push that question. Stephanie can one-off answer those questions. It's just not, it doesn't get people to then respond saying you're a dummy for not knowing the address of town hall. You know what I mean? It's meant to be above that. It's meant to be.
So we shouldn't respond like that. No.
Yeah, no,
We should
you
respond respectfully.
Or town halls. No. And again, I just want to emphasize, not censorship. It's just the intentions have always been, we want to make sure we push information out for people, give people the opportunity to respond to us if they have questions or ideas. And I love the idea of having like spin-off groups. If you want to have a further conversation related to community aggregation, electrical aggregation, we're going to be, have a group that's set up over here, run privately, that people can engage in the conversation. And I think that's a super smart way to do it.
Yeah, thank you. Any other thoughts or questions do you want me to share the screen again, or we're going to just keep plugging away at it and hopefully get more done between now and our next meeting? Life happens. It's the pros and cons of having, I said to Sharice, like having our own timeline and our own our own set deadlines, as we can be flexible.
Looks like a good start.
That's a good start. Thanks. And I'll continue. I wanted to kind of get something attainable done. But I still want to explore that HubSpot option more, for being able to allow people to sign up for emails and stuff like that. So we'll keep at it with all that. But keep sending the content as you guys have been, some of you have been doing. We'll keep kind of keeping that, collecting it so it's accessible and go from there. I'm gonna skip for a minute just to this idea of coaches. That's item 4D on our agenda, and run it by you. I don't think I've shared this idea with you all yet, but I wanted to get your feedback as we begin to grow our ability to engage with the public. I saw this on the Green Beverly website. They have something called Coaches, where a resident, I'm going to see if I can find it quickly, could ask for an individual to come and help to advise them. I haven't reached out to them to see what that exactly means, if they actually do it, if anyone actually reaches out to them. But let me just open it up. This is still here. This one, coaching program. We created this program to connect Beverly residents and businesses with their neighbors who have experience or expertise in specific areas of sustainability. Our goal is to share what we know and make the city of Beverly greener. 24, wow. It's a bigger city. It's a city, right? Isn't Beverly a city? Fantastic coaches are volunteering their time to help you. And then there's, let's answer your questions. I don't know that we're there yet, but this is an idea that I have thought could be really cool. And they're like before I even saw this, and then this framework just made sense to me. And I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Where basically, once we have a way for people to reach out to us as an entity, we could connect them with somebody. So if, in my case, like I've always been like, if someone's like, I don't know how to manage my trash with this barrel, like I just want to go to their house if they want me and give them tips, be like, well, look, you know, this is, you could easily compost this, or this is actually helping them figure out how to sort their recycling so it takes up less space. Like somebody else might have really good ideas for saving water or electricity. Moving to solar, we might have some experts in that. If someone's like, you know, I really am interested in solar, but I'm confused and I don't know where to begin. Like if we have people in our community that know this stuff and make themselves available, we could connect residents to them. What are your thoughts on that idea?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good idea.
Thanks, Phil.
I mean, like a rain barrel, like we've hooked up our rain barrel. You know, I could show somebody else how to hook up a
Yes,
rain barrel. You know,
exactly.
there's a lot of things like that out there.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it'd be good to find out how that's working in Beverly, like if they're getting any use of the program.
Mhm.
And like what kind of questions people are most interested in. But
That's sort of
I
what the
think that,
subject areas are.
yeah, it seems like a useful tool. I feel like as town staff, like there's a limit to how much I can advise people on specific things. Like I can't tell them like, here's a company to hire for your solar. Like I can't say
Yeah.
things like that. But if it's just like not
Neighbor to
official
neighbor.
town information, it's just like neighbor to neighbor.
Yeah.
That could be a good way to provide recommendations.
And all we would be doing is connecting residents with neighbors who have experience in whatever it is their question is. So it's not, so it's a little, it's more informal.
Yeah, but I like that they have the disclaimer that like they're not responsible for your decisions.
Yeah. Put it on there.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think that I love the idea conceptually. And I think
Mhm.
as long as it is simply connecting one local person with another local person, and then we're removed from the process. So
Mhm.
we're not responsible for setting up the appointment. Oh, this
Yeah.
person hasn't gotten back to me in 3 days.
Yeah.
As long as it's very clear that our involvement ends with the introduction of the connection, then I think
Mhm.
it's great.
Okay. That's kind of how we do like at Zoomies. We have the artists exhibits and we don't get involved with their sales.
Right.
All we are is the conduit to connect one with the other, and then we're out of the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. It feels very community building focused,
Mhm.
which is nice.
Yeah.
So if I could just add real quick, having be a resident in Beverly, I know that and being aware of and at times participate in some of the Green Beverly activities. Um, They've been doing it for a little while. It's not just like a new pop up, and I don't know success rates per se or any data associated with it other than they have a robust list. They've been doing it for a while, and that leads me to believe that they've had some success with it. Otherwise, they might have pivoted their energies in other directions. So it's good to have a template to work off of, and I think that different communities for sure, but I think there could be a lot of opportunity in doing it. I can say as just like as a human, as a person, like if it's going to be come down to promotion of it, right? Because I think if I had somebody I knew I could just pick up the phone, and all of a sudden I would get connected and someone would call me, and assuming this stuff works, I write an email and all of a sudden I get a email back from somebody or a phone call saying, hey, when can we meet? And I go in there and they say, oh, you could do this and you could do that, you could do this. And if it's specific to like putting in a mini split or doing better on my trash or whatever it might be, or putting solar on the roof, I think that would be such a useful tool. And I think that just getting people to know the tools available for them to use is going to be huge.
And you're just making me think that if we do, and again, this is sort of like my first floating of the idea, it'll be a little while before we actually have something set up. I love the having a disclaimer, also maybe a way to collect data on it. So like we connect people and step out of the picture, but maybe having there be a request for, can you just share with us how that went with a couple quick, simple questions that give us data on whether it's effective, whether adjustments might be needed, whether, different, whatever, we can get to that later, but I think getting data on it, structuring it from the beginning with a method for getting data back. I think I see head nods, so that's good. All right, thanks for your feedback on that. I would be happy to reach out to Beverly, but if someone else is interested in reaching out to Beverly to ask them how it's going and then report back to us, I would welcome anyone to let me know. You can let me know now, or you can.
Yeah, I
email
can
me
do that.
after.
I can also reach out to the sustainability staff network and see if anyone else is doing it besides
Okay.
Beverly.
Okay.
So a really good friend of mine is one of the coaches if you want. And I could connect Jackie so I don't bottleneck it.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
connect you with Julie and maybe then you guys can run with it. But she's a really good personal friend. So I don't mind reaching out and asking for her to divert some attention to us.
Okay.
Jackie, you and I can follow up on that.
Amazing. Okay, so back to the agenda. The next thing is our MMA Innovation Award application. There is MMA is municipal. Hold on. I'm gonna remember it. Don't tell me. Massachusetts Municipal Awards? Is it? Is that right?
Association?
Association? Yeah?
Mass
Okay.
Municipal Association.
Yes.
You got it.
Some guesswork there. So Kevin brought to our attention that there's an innovation award that they offer, that they give out every year, and there's an application deadline that's the end of this month. And so the town is putting together an application for that around our new waste collection program. And the innovation being that we kind of didn't go to the default easy, what everyone else is doing, most common approach to change to this automation movement in the industry by just putting out a 65-gallon bin and charging everybody a trash fee. But we did a ton of work collecting data and getting the surveys and educating and researching and looking at the Mass DEP best practices and keeping a real commitment to sustainability with the program that we've put out. And despite some of the loud complaints on Facebook, it's been going very, very well. And we've also been seeing so far, it appears that the data as far as waste reduction and increase in recycling and 38% increase in participation rate for curbside composting, are all pointing to this being a win. So I sent you guys a letter that I drafted for our committee to submit with their application. Did you guys have a chance to take a look? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
That looked great. Thanks for drafting that.
Thank you. Yay.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was very impressive, seeing everything that you all have done. So yeah, thanks for putting it together.
I
And
tried
this
to
just
use
gets
the,
attached this is like an attachment to the application. It's a letter of
Correct.
support from the SAC.
correct,
right?
correct.
Yeah,
The
I like it.
application will be a fuller packet. This is just our part.
Kevin, is
Um,
it just bragging rights that you win, or is there any sort of financial award?
Yeah, what do we win, Kevin?
I'll get medals. No, it's when I was in Beverly, we actually for a program that I was involved in, we won this award back in 2020. And it's a really nice way to say thank you when you institute a project that takes a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, a lot of time and energy and expertise and thoughtfulness. And so, I think the reward, maybe not the award, but the reward is, being able to thank everybody who's been involved in recognizing that what DEP has told us and what other communities that I've spoken with have said is that you guys seem to have a really great program and no one else is doing it the way you're doing it. And it's reducing your trash tip, it's increasing your recycling. It's allowed us to increase our participation in composting, all while doing it without having any additional financial burdens on the community from an override perspective or universal trash fee. I don't know any communities that have gone automated that have been able to check all those boxes. So it's pretty special. It's pretty cool. And it'd be nice to bring home an award for everybody on such a time consuming and important and sometimes debated program that we rolled out. So, and thank you all for your support in everything from Jen and I meeting early on and with Zilly to talk about collecting data, following the truck, to swapping out
Yeah.
barrels and getting interns help us with rain barrels and promotion.
barrel.
It was pretty great.
And Jen, I honestly, like, when I was like, what was innovative? I'm like, this screen spreadsheet system that you developed for us to be able to collect data efficiently was like, I feel like that alone deserves a prize. So made sure to put a screenshot of that on there instead of.
Yeah, I like those attachments. That looks good.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
Any other comments on it, or is there a motion to approve signing that letter?
My
as a
name is
committee?
spelled wrong at the end of it.
Oh dear.
That's okay. It's got one
No.
L. It's a common.
Okay, one
common
L.
error. Yeah.
I'm gonna fix it. I'll fix that. So with that edit, is there a motion? I'll say the whole thing. Is there a motion to approve signing of this letter on behalf as a Sustainability Advisory Committee for the MMA Innovation Award application?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Shreese. Second, anyone?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Phil. And a roll call vote. I'll go the other way this time. Jen,
Hey,
Phil,
I
Shreese,
Aye.
and I'm an I. So we will submit that I'll correct the L on Phil's name and we'll submit that. Thanks, everybody. And again, like, since you're here, Kevin, I can also just thank the town for the commitment to, because even I sometimes had doubts about the size of the carts, but having been heard and listened to, made a huge difference, because then I was getting my own words back at me and the support of Jackie and the Mass DEP on just like staying committed to that priority was really great. So thank you.
I
All right.
just wanted to circle back on the, like, now that we're like several months into this change,
Mhm.
has there been any uh, what's the feedback now, or is it just quiet? Like, are people only complaining rather than saying good? Like, what's happening? Because I'm not on the town residents page to know, or at town hall to field those calls.
Zilly, do you want to handle maybe if you want to handle the Facebook, I can handle calls and inquiries directly to us.
Sure. I mean, Facebook mostly has just been quiet, except for like the occasional, like very clearly, I'm just trying to be a rebel rouser comment, almost jokes mostly. And then there has actually been some positive in-person feedback when I've been at community events around town. For the most part, I guess when people figure out who I am, they're like, oh my God, it's working great for me. Like these people need to just calm down. That's the verbal feedback I've gotten. And then Kevin will speak. And I know Jackie, you also are in the office where Sue probably fields calls as well. So if you guys have feedback from that point of view.
So I'll just say that first of all, for those here, Jackie, Zilly, and others, and the ones not here, Sam, Sue, Debbie, Dina, and many others who are on the front lines of the rollout, did an amazing job of, and continue to do an amazing job with whenever anyone calls with a question on trash, they get an immediate call back. If not in that moment, they get a response and an answer, and it's a priority, right? So there was initially some people who came in, but only really a handful, honestly, that came in that were hot and maybe were upset. Not to the point of even yelling, but just kind of like frustrated. But each of those instances, we were able to sort of, I think almost all of them, if not all, we were able to walk through and give them some more information and explain why it is the way it is. And that really hasn't changed. It's just gone to automation. And a couple people, no matter what, would just be like, nope, I want 65. Well, you can get up to 70 if you buy buy a second one. It's less expensive than if you bought bags before. Nope, I think I want 165. I'm like, okay. I'll pay a $400 trash fee to do that. Nope, we're not doing trash fees. But it was a lot of it is just kind of emotional response immediately, and I think a lot of them follow Facebook. And when people were posting on Facebook, I think that was when we got most of the inquiries that were people upset. But after about, would you say 3 or 4 weeks, Lily, Facebook really did calm down, maybe even less. And there was a couple of, like you said, little fires that went out, and then people kind of gave people facts, or it just kind of burnt itself out. And then, since that time, I had a couple emails of people saying that the recycling got stuck in the bottom of their bin, but they showed me a picture of them literally jamming all the cardboard in probably as tightly as they possibly could, and the equipment just couldn't get it out. So I had a couple conversations that, but I'd say I've had probably 0 people, and I've made aware of all of the calls that come through when people are hot on trash. I don't think we've had a hot call in at least 4 to 6, maybe even 8 weeks at this point. We do have people ask questions. The questions we get now are all basically bin questions like, hey, I didn't have that little bar in the front. Oh, we'll get you a bar and put it in your mailbox. Sam did that this morning. Or the wheel fell off. Oh, you just snap it back in like that. Or the lever on the cover, the little one of the brackets on the side isn't there and it's loose. Oh, we'll swap it out. And so we've been responsive in a really positive way on that too, because our policy the first year is that we kind of warranty everything. So if somebody's bin breaks in any capacity, we'll swap it out. So I think we've been able to meet people with their expectations, or sometimes and hopefully surpassing expectations with how quickly we're able to get to yes and deliver. I think that's gone a long way as well. So from a feedback perspective, Jen, it's been very much just kind of black and white, nuts and bolts. Like I had someone this morning call saying it's the first time this has happened, saying that their bin got stolen. It's like, interesting. Haven't had that one yet. Didn't think through that one. So I said, we'll talk tomorrow. I want to bring back some of the teammates and kind of discuss what we're going to do. And I'll mention too, I said to Zilly, we had a conversation this morning on a number of different fronts, and working with this AI startup company that wants to be in the municipal space to create policy and procedures using specific data mining from municipalities to create, using AI, really tight policies and procedures. And we're going to be one of the only first beta communities of their company. And so they want to write a policy for us, and they want me to put into the system another policy I want written, and then we'll do it together. But one of the two things I'm hoping to have created is a robust trash policy, like procedures and policy manual. Because we don't have that. We have the website, which is really robust, but those are the things. And Stephanie did put a very comprehensive packet together of material about how the program's going to work, that she uses our base to create the website that we can probably leverage to create a formal policies and procedures. But yeah, that's the I totally went off your question, Jen, and just went in a whole different direction. I will say this: I'm going to tell one 15-second story, and to answer the question. So at one of my open sessions, I had two public neighborhood meetings up at Town Hall to talk about the trash rollout. The first one, there was a gentleman there who afterwards, he has two kids, teenage kids. He said, "I want a 65-gallon bin." I said, "We're not doing 65. You get a second, 30. I want a 65-gallon bin." "You missed it, Kev. You missed it." I said, "Listen, there's so many ways. I got 4 kids myself. I have composting in Beverly. I've got 2 bins, and I got recycling. Like, we can make it work." No, it's not going to work. But I said, "Tell you what, give it a couple months, come back to me. And I genuinely want to hear, this was before the roll. I said, I genuinely want to hear your feedback. Like, if we can do better, I want to know how your experience did to help inform us how we can be better." He said, "All right." So I didn't hear from him, but I ran into him in the street about a month after the rollout. Him and his wife were walking their dog. It was right before one of our select board meetings, and I happened to be downtown. And I would cross the street, and he's behind me. He goes, "Hey, Kevin." And I said, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And we started talking, and then he knew our experience was based on trash. So I asked him, "So how's the trash going?" He goes, and before he could answer, his wife goes, "It's fine. It's going really well." And I looked at him, and he said, "Yeah, we ended up buying a composting. We're doing the food composting, and we're teaching our teenagers how to recycle now. And we haven't had the." I go, "So you bought a second bin too?" He goes, "Actually, we didn't. We're trying to make it work with one."
That's
And I
great.
said, "Literally, you're the case study.
Love it.
This is what we were trying to do all along." And
Love
so he
that.
was happy. It all worked out. And I hope other people had that experience. So
That's great.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks. Anything else from anybody else? Not really. All right. Jen, you good with that?
Yeah, sorry, I had to go off camera. My bandwidth is low.
That's okay. Just want to make sure you felt like your answer.
Yeah, thank you so
you got
much.
your answer. All right. I'm gonna well, I really want to quickly, I have written a note here under member updates. I just wanted to make sure I tell you guys, I'll come back to the education thing, that our charter and strategic plan updates were approved at select board meeting. I want to say it was October 9th. Anyway, sometime recent, between last meeting and this meeting, we made it to the select board agenda and they approved all of our updates. So that's all good. Thanks you guys for all the help fixing that up. I have sent an email. I just reminded her today to Stephanie to update it on our website and to also add Charisse and take Brad Bissell off our website. So hopefully she gets to that soon. And if you guys ever see any other things that are like out of date on the website, please tell me so I can tell the town to update it, because I didn't realize myself until just now that that Charisse hadn't been added. So education, I started a little list. So now that we're going to have our Facebook and Instagram, I would really love to start inviting and maybe make a calendar of like expert topic presenters or programs. I started with I think it'd be really cool to get Black Earth to come, Ipswich River Watershed Association, Mary Ellen Dixon, who does education on invasives. And she actually asked me recently to take a walk with her along Route 97 because she sees properties sometimes that are she can't tell if it's the right of way or not. And she just really wants to get in there and cut back some of the invasives, especially the bittersweet. hers would maybe be more of a hands-on type of session. I'm adding to the list like the SCARs, the group that does educating around rodent control without using rat poison. I know that we have experts out there on solar power and energy topics, etc. Do you guys have any feedback on like, should we try to partner up with the library on something like this? Should we have it on Zoom or in person? Should we like, I just wanted to kind of start getting a framework in mind so that if we do start reaching out to people and asking them, we kind of can say like, this is what the structure will be. Um, would you want to be
Like
one of our
teaming
experts?
up with the library. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Other thoughts?
Yeah, I like the idea of teaming up with the library as well. I do think that these days Zoom events are typically more well attended with everyone's busy schedules.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's also nice if we can then have a recording.
Mm.
Because of course, then we can share, we can use that in our outreach, that we're starting to do. That
Yeah.
can be reposted, things like that. So I do like that idea.
Love it.
I
The
also
library,
think
the library has a lot of in-person events too, though. I mean,
Yeah, I see them doing both actually lately. Yeah.
I've gone to quite a few things where they have, and I think those are pretty well attended usually and interesting.
Do you
Um,
know, Phil? I haven't been to one in a while. Have they started streaming those as well
I
when they
don't
have
think
them in
so.
person?
I don't think so.
Wonder if we can help them figure that
I
out.
mean, they do a lot through the library consortium. That usually comes
Yeah.
from like Tewksbury or something like that, where
Yeah.
they do most of the Zoom
Yeah. Okay.
things. But
Yeah, I think we should also look for local organizations that have newsletters that can promote our event. I don't know if like IRWA or like Rewilding MA or like other regional organizations just to get more turnout. Because
Mhm.
why not, even if people are from another town, they
Yeah.
can really learn from it if it's
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. All right. That's all really good feedback. So my goal is going to be to try to work on seeing if we can get something so we can make a 2026 calendar. Like if we start now with inviting people, we could maybe do that. That's going to be my reach for the stars goal. And I think it'd be so cool if we had that. So
I think, Zilly, also in your email to us, reminding us about the open space survey, I think it'd be good to
yes,
have somebody from open space talk to us at some point, just to
yes,
brief,
good, thank you.
let us know what's happening there. And it doesn't have to be until maybe the results of the survey at some
Yep.
point. I don't know.
I love that. Yeah, thank you. And even if that's just to us for now too, and then we can
Right.
see if they're, yeah. All right, I'm making a note for that. All right, we're down to the last couple minutes, but I added member updates and I'm going to start having that on our agendas just because I know sometimes there's something we want to share that's not necessarily an item on the agenda. Is there anybody that has any updates you really would like to share? Not today.
I guess
All
I'll
right.
mention that we met with Neil from IRWA about submitting expressions of interest for grants. So we're going to submit one for the grant that we applied for last year for MVP. It's climate resilience related to address flooding with culverts and doing like feasibility studies of culvert upgrades. So we got feedback that we needed like more evidence of our like relationship with the schools to put on events with them. I think with Masco specifically, we said we would do climate cafes, and IRWA said they were willing to put those on with the school, and they have contacts. So there's like a few little things we need to improve, but we almost got the grant is sort of the feedback that we got. We just need to fix a few little things. So we're looking into that. We also started looking into this drought resiliency grant. And I'm going to talk to Molly from IRWA about that. Maybe not for this year, but something to look into for the future. They provide funding for drought resilience, like water efficiency solutions.
I love it. Thank you, Jackie, for taking that initiative. I don't know if you guys remember last year, we did sign like a recommendation for that application. So we'll be doing that again when this new when the next round comes through. And I also mentioned to them that for our part, I think we can help in a number of ways, but one of them is I'm already thinking 2027, when we're kind of on the other side, if we get a grant like this, we could theme Earth Day around the watershed, and really have a lot of good stuff. So thanks for that update and initiative. Anything else before we wrap up?
I'll just give a quick update that composting continues to go well across the 6 elementary schools, as well as recycling. So that's been great. And then, kind of thinking about what you were just talking about and like community connections with the school and such. I'm working with the 3 wellness committees across the 3 towns for the elementary schools. And last year we did a coaching program through the Stalker Institute, through the Framingham University and DESE, which helped us enhance and develop our local wellness policy. And this year we were just accepted into the 2nd tier of that coaching program. And this is more getting the wellness committees to focus on putting what's in the policy and what we kind of have in our minds as initiatives we'd like to do for wellness into action. And so, I think that this could be a nice touch point and connection going forward if we know, it would be great to promote this kind of effort related to sustainability or, environmental wellness or something in this town. If we could kind of get on the schedules of the wellness committees now that things are kind of revamping with these committees.
Yeah.
It could be a solid team of people to have as, kind of partners to move any of these things forward. For a while, those committees, I think like fell off a little bit after the pandemic and such, but they're back in effect now.
Thank you for that. I think that's awesome because you're reminding me that, there was a time like with Topsfield, with just Proctor, that's how we got the garden going, was through the wellness committee. So, and that was a sustainability initiative. So,
Right.
I love it. Thank you. Great update.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'm going to give space if there's anything last minute things. Okay. Well, I'm going to pat myself on the back and knock on wood, because I feel like we've done a pretty good job at keeping these meetings, like getting everything in the hour. Always feels like, is this really going to happen? And so I'm really happy to adjourn us at 1:03 p.m. seeing no objection. And thank you all. And I'll hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care.